This video is not about how to convert your X amount of money into Y amount of money. This video is about those technicalities in the market which is only exploited by the educated and sharp-minded investors, where a naive investor is only worried about rise and fall of the stock price. These astute investors are always looking for ways to maximizing their gains and minimizing their losses. If you are following me, you know I believe in imparting knowledge. I don't believe in flukes, and yes, most of us know investment is not gambling. So come along and enjoy this exclusivity. There are some prerequisites to my videos. You should have patience to sit and learn, curiosity to ask questions, and passion to do things differently. That is, not follow the masses. What are you waiting for then? Let's start. In this video, we are going to be discussing about time decay, which you might also call as extrinsic value. When you are looking at the price of the index or stock option, you are basically looking at its extrinsic and intrinsic value. In this video, I will be sharing and explaining different strategies on how to minimize extrinsic value decay when it is working against us, and how to exploit it in our favor. In our last video, the cheat sheet of option writing, we talked about conviction levels and divided it for beginners, intermediate, and professional traders. We talked about conviction levels up to 95%, but we did not answer that what if your conviction about the direction is beyond 95% and you want to make most out of it. What will you do to maximize your gains? You got it right. You will buy options, as it gives you leveraged returns. This we talked about in our 6 golden rules video. But one thing will definitely cross your mind, and that will be time decay. As an option trader, before executing any trade, we have to keep time decay, aka THETA, in mind. You know that even if you are thorough with the trend, time decay will always play against you. And as the time passes, value of your option prices decreases. That's the reason typically we tend towards writing an option instead of buying it. Through this video, we would like to share 4 ways through which you can minimize the impact of time decay and minimize the time decay losses that otherwise occur naturally. With this, let's begin. The first approach. You can minimize the time decay by buying an in-the-money option. It's simple but expensive. It means that you buy an option that has intrinsic value. What that means is, for a call option, you are buying an option with a strike price below the current stock price. And for a put option, you are buying a put option with a strike price above the current stock price. When you buy in the money option, your option has more of intrinsic value and less of extrinsic value. Let's take a look at the option chain on the screen. You can easily notice that the further in the money we go, the lower the strike price of the call option is, which further translates to lesser and lesser extrinsic value. If we take a look at this image of Reliance stock options chain as on 17th June 2021, just look at the Reliance call option with a strike price of 2220. Notice that the price of this option is currently at rupees 48.5. And since Reliance stock prices are slightly below the strike price of 2220, we know that this call option has no intrinsic value whatsoever, which further implies that the value or price is 100% extrinsic value or time value. Now let's have a look at strike price of rupees 2120. We will notice that this 2120 call option in Reliance is worth around rupees 112. Look at the extrinsic value column. We see that this option has extrinsic value around rupees 17. which is only a small portion of the overall rupees 112. Now let's compare these two options. If I purchase the 2220 call option for rupees 48.5, it will cost me rupees 12,125. If on the expiry, the stock remains at the current price, this option expires worthless and I will lose 12,125 rupees. But if instead I purchase 2120 call option that costs me 28,038 rupees, this 112 rupees option premium has rupees 17 as time value, which means that the extrinsic value is 4,250 and reliance on expiry date is at current levels. I would only lose rupees 4,250 by holding the 2,120 call option as opposed to holding 2,220 call option, where I would lose whole of rupees 12,125, cause in 2,220 call option most part is the intrinsic value. Lastly, if we look at the 2020 call option, we can see that the price of that option is around rupees 206, and of that only rupees 11 is extrinsic value. So if we look further and further into ITM options, we will notice that in general this option will have more intrinsic value and less extrinsic value. Simply put, if you purchase a deep ITM option, you will be paying mostly intrinsic value and a very small portion of extrinsic value. Now this brings us to approach number 2 for minimizing the time decay. This idea is actually unique. Whenever a stock has an upcoming event like earnings or some other unique big announcement that can make the index really volatile, this causes lots of uncertainty around. The option prices of the very short-term options won't decrease much due to decrease in extrinsic value. For example, if a company is reporting earnings on Friday after the market hours, and let's say today is Monday, I could purchase the ATM options of the closest expiry date and can still hold till Friday. But I definitely take the exit before the announcement. Because of this high volatile move, the options time value won't decrease on the natural expected line, due to which I have an opportunity for a very limited time. One thing I need to make sure is to close these positions before the announcement. Otherwise, we are turning this trade into an earnings trade and are exposed to high volatile stock price movement and also to the subsequent collapse of extrinsic value that will happen after the announcement. Approach number 3 is my favorite one to minimize the time decay, which I feel is better and full of flexibility. This is to buy a structured spread. Instead of buying normal option, I structure in a very specific way. I will buy an option and short another option in such a way that the time decay of short option offsets the time decay of long option. We can structure the call spread in 2 ways. We will share some examples in some time. So in first scenario, we have least exposure to time decay, which means as the time passes, the time value decay won't impact my trade. And in second scenario, I have a positive exposure to time decay. Okay, let me explain. Now let's take a look at the first scenario to structure a spread such that we want to minimize time decay. We purchase ITM option and short OTM options. This way, we are buying an option that mostly has intrinsic value and has very little extrinsic value. And we are shorting an option that only has extrinsic value and as time passes by, the extrinsic value will only be beneficial to us. Let's understand this with an example that I set up with this exact structure of bull call spread on Reliance share. You will notice that I can buy 2160 call option at 80.9 and sell 2280 call option at 27.3. And the stock price is right in the middle of both the strike prices. that is rupees 2215. In this case, net investment in this bull call spread is rupees 53.6. That gives us the break-even price of rupees 2213.6, which I get by adding spread price of rupees 53.6 to the long call strike price of 2160. This adds up to rupees 2213.6. This bull call spread has rupees 55 of intrinsic value, and if the expiration happens at current levels, the 2160 call option will expire at rupees 55 and 2280 call will expire worthless, and I take whole of rupees 27.30. Therefore, the overall exit price at expiration will be rupees 82.3, which means I will end up in small profits of rupees 1.40. So it's kind of incurring no profit, no loss at expiry due to the time value decay. Of course, the stock price is going to move between now and expiry, but this illustrates that if we structure a bull call option this way, there is a very little or no exposure to the time value decay as time passes. Now we take a fresh look at second scenario here. I will structure a spread in such a way that even if stock move in my favor or even remains at the same level, I will make money. Let's look at the image on the screen. It's the same screenshot, and I bought same 2160 strike price at rupees 80.9. But I move my shorts option from 2280 to 2220. In this bull call spread setup, I purchase ITM options, which is the 2160 call at rupees 80.9, and short ATM call of 2220 strike price at 48.50. That means my net investment is rupees 32.4, which could also be called as the spread cost. Now let's say at the expiry, the stock is at same current level of 2215. The 2160 call will be worth rupees 55, and the 2220 call will expire worthless, giving me credit of rupees 48.5, which means net profit of rupees 22.6. That means as time passes by and we get closer to expiry date, the spread price will actually increase in value, and that is caused by the loss of time value in the options, especially in the ATM option. The reason being, current stock prices are well above the break-even price of the purchased spread, and I have actually put myself in a situation where I make money from the passage of time. The fourth and the last approach to mitigate the option time value decay is by buying long-term options. Since the theta is greatest near expiry days, which means there is slower time decay when you buy options that are far from the expiry. For example, just have a look at the screen. Here, theta of June expiry 2200 call option of Reliance is 3.5, while theta for August expiry 2200 call is 0.88. This clearly shows further the expiry dates are, slower is the time decay. This could actually be used for index options easily. This video has definitely helped you understand the ways to minimize time decay, the loss that happens naturally because of the passage of time. Each of these approaches we discussed has its own benefits and downsides, but the highlight here is time value and how working with the structures of our strategies and the timing of our strategies, you can strategically minimize the negative effects of losing the time value. If you liked the content of this video and found it informative, we would really appreciate if you hit the like button. And if you are new to our channel, please subscribe and enable all notifications so that you don't miss out any update. And do not forget to join us on Telegram. Happy learning.